Brother, we have 1 week left.
1 week.
1 week.
1 week.
1 week, and then we're going to be able to show whatever kinds of decks that we want, along with gameplay. But just in case anyone didn't know, this is the Debrief podcast. Welcome. We're actually doing a live recording today because I hit live on Twitch right as Bolt said that he was online. Our schedules do not seem to link up very easily, so but it is 1 week left, so we figure we'll get this out there. And today's topic is going to be something that should be pretty useful to a lot of the newer players out there. However, it's going to be missing a couple of things. So what we're going to be talking about today is the decks that we think new users should be using. Except, again, there is a little bit of an issue because as Russia, or at least right now on B Armory, we do not have access to Russia Motorized, Russia Mechanized, or U.S. Special Forces or U.S. Striker. That's just because they don't have the data, so they can't actually put those on there. Luckily for United States, that's the deck that I would have chosen anyway for newer players. I would have said Armored Marine. For Russia, I think a Armored Motorized might be better, but I think I'm gonna go Armored Marine as well, for pretty much the same reasons. And we'll basically just break that down. Bolt will go through what he thinks he should, or what he thinks new players should use, and what also he wants to use. And I'll go through what I think new players should use and what I am going to use for the first day there. But to get things out of the way, initially, depending on when you guys are watching this, game plan for actual release. Yes, the early access is the 16th, which double checking, I think that's yeah. So that is a Monday. So exactly 7 days from now, we will have access to the 3-day early access of Broken Arrow. If you bought the other version of the game, that is going to be the 19th, which is the Thursday. Assuming that everybody listening right now at least has the 16th version, the release on the 16th version, because we're all super excited for this game and whatnot. Hopefully this will be useful. In terms of next week's episode for Debrief, probably just gonna not do next week. I don't know what we would. Maybe we do like a first impressions kind of a thing. I'm not exactly sure what exactly we'll do, but lots of gameplay will be had. And game plan for day one there is, if you guys haven't heard, on my end of things, it's going to be myself, Sacriel, Karmakut, Moydog, and Clean, with Clean potentially bowing out. Bolt will take Clean's spot. What's also happening, and Bolt, you'll be up to date on this one as well, or you won't be up to date on this one as well. I'm getting tons of DMs from Escape from Tarkov people who keep seeing me tweet and post and talk about Broken Arrow and are like, what's this game? Exactly the same way that Clean did, if any of you happened to be on the stream the other day, where Clean was listening to myself and Sacriel talk about Broken Arrow, and he was just like, yeah, I'll come and try it out. It seems to be happening quite a bit. We've talked about this in detail already. It just seems like for some reason or another, a lot of people are interested in Broken Arrow, even though they might not necessarily be RTS fans themselves. And so there's going to be a lot of new players showing up. I'm getting lots of DMs from Escape from Tarkov friends who don't really play RTS games. Some of them dabble. So it's possible on day one, we could be looking at in-houses where that will be useful for the situation that we have, where there's probably going to be 4 or 5 of us that are very knowledgeable about the game, if not depending on who shows up, some of the best in the world, along with brand new players, all of which being content creators in some way, shape, or form. So that's the day one setup. We'll see what that looks like exactly. We'll have to wait and see. 7 days away, along with being able to play the game in general. If there are server issues, we are going to be playing scenarios. There was actually, Bolt, did you see that some dude was playing it yesterday?
I did not. Was someone playing it?
Or the day before? Let's pop this up real quick. Let's pop this up. Some dude, Slytherin. It's just like, if you recognize this name, please let me know, because I've never heard of this dude before in my life. Let's see if the VOD is still up, actually. The VOD is, in fact, still up.
Tonight, I literally didn't update my game. And
So
thanks.
a bit of context here. Richard York. You ever heard of that name before?
Nope.
I have no idea. So I don't know Slytherin's like setup here, but it seems like there's people that they just stream on the Slytherin channel, and it is super confusing to me. This dude Richard York, which assuming this is the build that they have for release. You watching my screen? Well,
I've not heard. What?
can you see my screen?
I'm just Googling this guy to see if I ever
Okay.
saw him anywhere, but
Okay, well I got the
lost.
yeah, I got the VOD up.
Kind of got lost in the sauce there. No, I've never seen any other videos that I've
Right.
watched from him.
Never heard of this dude before. Assuming this is the build for release because he's reset to level 1 because
Richard York.
Jesus Christ, if they allowed some dude to play it that's never played it before
Could it be just
a
an
week
old
before
VOD? What's the
release.
version say?
No, it's 2 days ago, bro. He was playing it. I was
but
on
like,
stream on Dune, and someone came into
oh.
my chat and was like, dude, they're playing Broken Arrow right now. I'm like, what are you talking about? And they're like, go to
Dune.
Slytherin's stream. It was 2 days ago.
Yeah, okay, the date is on the top right there as well in the server status.
Is it?
See that?
Oh, true.
Top
Yeah,
right
yeah,
on the
yeah, I see it.
there.
Yeah, okay, got it. Yeah, so this guy, no
Interesting.
kidding. Obviously, this is something that I need to work on. Clearly, obviously, no hate with my tone and the way that I talk about people and the way I talk about things. No hate, no disrespect to this person in general. I just literally don't know who this person is, but the way that he talks and the way that he goes at this situation makes it sound like somebody from Slytherin pushed him into a dark room and forced him to play the game. He doesn't know anything what's going on. He doesn't know how to set up a skirmish. He doesn't know what's going on with the build. He doesn't know anything about the game, and he just goes on to like the tutorial. So unfortunately, all the gameplay is stuff that we've already seen plenty of. So super weird. Oh, it looks like, yeah, this is the tutorial, and it was like just the single player mission.
One of the single player missions.
Yeah, but it was very, very just strange at the beginning there because he's got access to what I think is the full build, and you can actually see a bunch of stuff. So there's skirmish mode ready to go. There's scenarios ready to go. So we know a little bit more just because of this stream, whether or not this guy was supposed to actually show these screens or not. It's in there in the VOD. It's probably worth its own video just to hit. There it is. So that's the full screen. So we got campaign, scenarios, multiplayer, and skirmish. So battle against AI opponents, skirmish confirmed, good to go. I don't know if that was said before by the devs. I don't recall. Apparently there's a bunch of other stuff that they've talked about before that I'm missed out on. Because they'll just like randomly say it in the Discord or something like that.
Yeah.
But battles against AI opponents, skirmishes, good to go. So if you guys are struggling on day 1, presumably based off of this build, this is presumably again this is the release build, good to go. If the servers go down, we'll see. We'll have to see what happens with the AI opponents and whatnot. It had happened in the past where for these open betas, where if the servers go down, we could not play. It really didn't seem like we had access to the game at all. You'd see like a loading circle up on your account.
It do go down.
Yeah. So it's possible if there are server issues, you literally can't access the game at all, which would be fucking horrific. Knock on wood for that one. But I really don't see a world where if the servers go down, you can't do the campaign or you can't do scenarios solo.
Yeah. Unless it like kicks you out and you need to log into your profile or something for it to keep progress. But if it's similar like games like Wargame, it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
Because you could play the single player without logging in.
Right.
But I don't know how they've set it up here.
Yeah. So we will see. And yeah, we'll see what happens with that skirmish thing. So since I am doing this live, Sean Leafu over there says, "Ayo, you got me into Broken Arrow," and I'm honestly thankful for that. It's flipping awesome. It's a lot of new players. It's still number 28 on Steam over everything on the wish list of wish lists. It's still number 28,
really
which
cool.
is crazy. It is crazy.
I'm gonna go in your chat and ban anyone that doesn't thank me.
A lot of new players. A lot of new players for sure. Burger
All right,
King.
Sean,
Who's
you're
playing
out.
a Burger King ad on my fucking channel? I don't like Burger King. We need a... What do we need up there? Honestly, I'd probably eat Whataburger over Burger King. Anyway, bit of a tangent. We'll keep things moving here. So let's have you get started there. You can you pull up the armory. Let's just based off of what we have access to here, uh, build out a deck. And let me pop this up.
Should I do a Russian or American one?
Let's do American.
I can do a Russian one if you want.
Yeah, I actually need to set this up so that the stream can see your screen. So give me one second.
I'm just snacking in the meantime.
Yeah, let's do pop out. And we'll do...
Wait, I forgot to ban this guy in the meantime. Hold up.
Is that going to be it? No.
If you want, I can always record my screen.
There it is. I got it.
Mm-hmm. So I could do a Russia one if you want.
Yeah, go for it. We're good to go. Stream can see it. Recording can see it. You're good to go now. Go ahead and do it up and talk through it. Do whichever one you want to do first. You can do both.
Yeah, I mean, American one I'm more familiar with, but Russia I feel like is quite a lot of fun.
It's probably going to still be useful to people because of your experience. It's probably still going to be useful to people to see you go through it and you kind of like give your impressions on the units and your understanding on the units at some capacity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you want to start with the US because it's what you know more, then let's, go ahead. Let's do that first. But then I still want to see your Russia because I think it still could be useful for people. Plus, not to mention, you play differently than me. So that's another component to this. So other people are going to play differently than me as well. So maybe that'll be more helpful to them. So yeah, go ahead.
We'll go for a Russian one. I feel like I really enjoy playing Russian decks because I just really like the certain types of units like Terminators and stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll go with that.
Okay.
I think we discussed this in the previous podcast, like recommended decks for newer players. Which is more of a thing when the other three specializations are here. But for now, let's do VDV Guard. I think that's, one of the three options you have with these specializations anyways. So we'll do that. And we'll continue. And I usually like to just start off from the top. Depends it really doesn't matter too much here at the beginning, but for ones that don't know, you have 10,000 points that you can spend across all of these categories, and each category has a maximum amount of points you can use, plus 10%. So you can go over this cap, however which way you want. You don't need to fill helicopters at all if you want to spend the points elsewhere, but there's also a cap per category. So let's see here. Recon, Spetsnaz is kind of a no-brainer. The entire build of this is kind of weird to me. I haven't really used the BA Armory that much. You've probably taken a dive into it like crazy.
Yeah, I've done it a bunch.
Yeah, you've been in here for a long time. But yeah, we can change the loadouts if we want. Let's go for I like the RPG 16. It's insane. 700 meters range.
On that note, actually, quick note, because I do know the guy that's running BA Armory. There is a help tab there, and there's also community guides and user manual up at the top. X out of that real quick. So if you guys are coming over to use BA Armory and you're having issues, check out the user manual or check out the community guides for help on BA Armory or just anything Broken Arrow as well. So it's a pretty helpful resource, and we're going to be talking about them a lot in the future. So, all right, go ahead.
Yeah, I've put 4 Spetsnaz in there with RPGs against actual armor. I've taken out the napalm rockets. I like to kind of have some drones. This is mainly on the flanks, though. Like, if there's open water, I just like to loiter these around.
Okay.
They'll probably get shot down anyways, but, then the day of AA. Rasvetka, always nice to have. Let me see here. I'll just keep them on foot for the moment. And then later I'll decide if I want to give them specific vehicles, but it depends what the infantry tab has for vehicles. Otherwise, I'll put them in like something fast for recon to get them there as fast as possible. I'll just fill it up for now.
Yeah, personally, I always like to have at least a couple of those VDVs running around. They're great. Yeah.
So Sarmats, I think you were the one that kind of introduced me to vehicle recon in the beginning. I love how fast these are, and also I really like the cords because they can just tear things apart,
Mm.
especially if it's just light armored. But these will just rush up roads that I don't want to invest a huge force yet on, and just make sure that they're not using it. It's kind of like a tripwire. But I'll keep this like this for now. I'll just build up the rest.
No Orions,
So
huh?
infantry. Sorry?
No Orions.
Not yet, not yet. So I've put the 4 post in here for now. I usually go kind of crazy with infantry and like support and helis and aircraft. So I'm
Okay.
gonna keep some of the points in standby.
Okay.
So that's another thing. When you build your decks, don't worry about filling it up immediately. Like,
True.
set some foundations in the categories, you know?
True.
So, let me see here. I love the Metis M squads. These are so good. Severely underrated. We'll go for the M1 because I believe that increases the range. Let me see here. Whoa. Whoa. Yeah, I believe there's some stats changes there that increases the range, I believe.
It should be,
Seek
yeah.
range 1200.
Yeah, there you go. You're looking at it. There you go.
We'll just get 4 of these. And I'll like to keep these in the BMD2s. Yeah, so we'll put them in the BMD2s. We'll just get 4 because we can interchange vehicles that we have. So for example, I now put the VDV with the BMD2s. But the moment I just want to spawn in an infantry unit, after that it gives me an option of the vehicles that I also have in this deck. So if I click on Resvetka, and the amount of manpower in one squad fits in a BMP2, then that'll show up as an option to put these Resvetkas in. So let's say you want to have a lot of the good recon units, but you don't want to waste points on vehicles. That's how you can balance it, by just getting vehicles in the infantry tab. It's quite cool that they've actually made that an option. I really love that.
Oh yeah, because it's vice
What do you
versa
think
too.
of that
Even
option?
just, I fucking love it. It's vice versa too, because if you just want to bring out a vehicle, you're good to go. And I've always wanted that. I've always really liked that.
Right, well, we
Because
got to get the T15s.
yeah, because we are genuinely two pretty different players. Like I do not use infantry. I use them as support. Otherwise, they are there so that I can bring the vehicles, and you guys will see that. If you haven't seen it yet, you'll definitely see it soon.
I like is it the BMDM, BTRD, or I think this one here has a lot of carry capacity. What does it say? That 15. Yeah, 15 is pretty dang good.
That is good.
So I usually have to I want to have like at least 2 of these guys. Okay, so we have some Sturm V keys for CQC anti-infantry. We have the VDV Spetsnaz and Resvetkas for clearing up some vehicles and some infantry. Metis for medium range. We put some VDV in there. I do want some Motostreliki for more meat, but I also want manpads. So we'll put some Verbas in there. And again, like I usually, at the end, I'll make adjustments. So I'm making like a rough selection first to keep it a bit easy. And then we'll go. So right now we're over the points, but we're still within parameters. So let's go vehicle. I mean, T14 is a no-brainer, but if you're a very new player, using very expensive units is not going to be a very fun time for you. Keep that in mind. I really love the Terminator, but mainly for...
Hold on. We're about to have an argument. What did you just say?
Yeah. So I think when you're using a very, very expensive unit and you lose it, well, you're going to have a bad time at that point.
Right.
Because you're... But it depends. If you're up against a new player, new versus new, it doesn't make that much of a difference, I guess. But new versus a guy that played 5 games...
Let me put it this way. There can still be bad expensive units, but there are very good expensive units, like the one that you're pulling up right now. So the way that I see it, and this is going to be one of my biggest suggestions that I give to new players, is you're going to die in the air. I think we've talked about this before, have we? Did we talk about last week?
One, I think.
Yeah, don't put anything in the air because you're going to die in the air. You're going to fuck up and you're going to lose a lot of points very quickly. But air units might be the easiest things to kill in the game. And you're going to fuck up constantly. However, on the ground, your problem is going to be micro. It's going to be too many units. You lose track of what you're doing, and it just gets messy. It gets frustrating, and the micro is going to end up killing you. So if you invest into the stronger, more powerful, the more deadly, the more defensible, the heavier armored units, that way you'll have less units on the ground. It's less stuff for you to micro. And yes, it can be outflanked. There's other more efficient ways of getting, like usually the middle ground, like there's strength in numbers and there's strength in strength. So you figuring that out is something that comes later. You being able to establish a front line comes first. You need your recon, you need your holding units, you need your pushing units, you need your logistics, you need your AA. Like, and so being able to keep all of that alive at once can be really frustrating, can be really difficult. But if it comes down to, I mean, that's 5 or 6 things, right? If it comes down to just 5 or 6 units that can do each of those jobs perfectly fine, it's much less micro and you're good to go. So that's usually why I tell people to go that way. It's just less for you to figure out. Sure, there's going to be problems, but at least you're learning quicker.
I'm being called by my boss right now.
Are you actually?
Yeah. You take the discussion though. I'll be really quick.
Okay, go ahead. All right, go ahead. I guess we'll check in with chat then. $49.99 price point may hold a lot of people back from buying this game. That's true. That's an expensive thing, but if you are a real RTS fan and this is going the true believer route, I understand. Hey, you're still showing your screen, by the way. Make sure you don't click off anything if you need to. If you are a true RTS fan, you know this is like a generational game. There genuinely has not been a game like this in like 10 years. And it's even better than the game that showed up when it was. So no, it's not like the base building that you get in StarCraft or, Command & Conquer or whatever. But like the abilities that you get in this game, the capabilities and the stuff that happens in this game is it's genuinely like generational. Especially if you were a fan of games like Wargame Red Dragon or just the Wargame series in general, or what's it called? World and Conflict, which were two like of my all-time favorite RTS games. So I really think it's worth it, and hopefully they continue the development in a strong way, lack of a better word again. Lack of a better phrase. They continue to add locations, they continue to add nations, they continue to add new features, new aspects of the gameplay, all that stuff. So I think that it's hell. You know what? I'd spend $100 on this. I'd spend $100 on this with a aspect of it being it's not done yet. You know what I mean? So it's almost like this is they're doing a interesting thing by not calling this early access, because the game's been in development for 5 years or however long it's been. And there's a lot more left planned, a lot more nations, specifically, a lot more specs, a lot more nations, other things like that. So the game isn't done. There's a hell of a lot more stuff to come. But they're choosing to call this the full release. So I would spend like early access, money in terms of like help the development into the future, even more than that, in my opinion, being the fan that I am of this genre and these games and the way that they play in particular. And I think a lot of people are in that boat as well. Warno?
Warno?
So I said that this is a generational game and people bring up Warno. I don't like Warno. I don't. And I don't see Warno being anywhere near as popular as what Broken Arrow is going to be. Is it fair to say Warno was even less popular than Wargame? Or no?
It kind of did pick up, honestly.
Recently?
It kind of did pick up, but yeah, it's been steadily growing. So at first, I mean, obviously you have this big player base that is playing Warno. They're kind of not as susceptible to a new title, right? But with time, with improvements, it has steadily grown. So it has a good player base, yeah.
When you count different strategy games, it does play like Warno. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I have yet to meet a Warno player who wasn't like fucking around when saying this. I've yet to meet a Warno player that doesn't like Broken Arrow better than Warno.
Fair. Yeah, fair.
So I just think so if somebody is thinking of that perhaps hasn't played Broken Arrow but has played Warno, just keep that in mind. I don't play Warno. I don't like it. If I had never played Wargame, it's possible I would love Warno, But because
Yeah.
it plays so similarly and it does all the things that I despised about Wargame, I don't like Warno. Or the things I ended up despising about Wargame, the fact that it just seems like everything can die so easily. You don't really have much.
Mm.
I know a lot's
Yeah, they've made a
changed.
lot of
Yeah,
changes to it,
it just
but it would still take time to get used to it though.
yeah. And then
I
when it
personally like it, but yeah,
yeah
it's a taste.
the timing, I think I want to mostly blame the timing on that end of things. Like I said,
True,
if I had
true.
never played Wargame, then I might end up really liking Warno. But with the
I
timing
think
of
so,
it
yeah.
all, with when Warno came out, and then getting into it as much as I did, and seeing the way that it played, I'm just like, all right, fuck this. And then I went, and because I wasn't playing that at the time, I probably, what year was that? I forget what year it was. I don't want to go on too much of a tangent here, so let's just say it was around the Arma time. I got distracted by
Right.
other games, and then that took me into a whole nother universe basically, and then I got stuck in that universe, and now I'm being brought back with Broken Arrow. Basically, is what happened there. Anyway, continue with your deck there.
Yeah, I was making a deck while on a phone call, so this went pretty good. So
Talk through what you were everything you put
Yeah.
on there. Yeah.
So I think I was left around here. So in the vehicles, while you were discussing the vehicle, just going for the good ones with less micro, I've put 2 T14s in here. These are just big oh shit moments when you see it. You know, it's a giant wall.
Mm.
Unless you specifically use like a plane with cluster bombs, this thing will
J-Sows are
survive.
significantly better. I don't know if you were on the receiving end of any J-Sows. In fact, I think you only played US,
Yeah.
didn't you? Or no, the second game we were
Oh, the
Russia.
cluster ones are insane. Yeah.
J-Sows are much better now.
Oh yeah. So I personally like to use more cheaper tanks. Even the T90 M Arena is still expensive, but not terrible. 325.
Yeah.
And I've kind of I go for a slightly cheaper version by not getting the ERA, which does give you more HP. But because I'm probably better in micro than, well, no need to be too modest, but we are probably better than micro than anyone that is playing the game for the first time, right? So we can get these units back, get them repaired, move them up again. But with a newer player, you might want to go for ERA as well because you get a bit of HP bonus there.
I'm gonna go ahead and say yes. The
Yeah.
most HP possible. You need to be able to make mistakes
Mhm.
and get something from it. Is my
Yeah,
opinion on
that's
that
the big
end.
thing. Yeah,
So go ahead.
yeah, it kind of holds your hand, right? Having a bit of HP extra.
For sure.
And Terminator is more of a nostalgia thing. I love the Terminator, man. It has so many guns too, like 2 grenade launchers.
Oh, yeah.
Has the big
And they ripple
autocannon.
fire
has
the attackers.
It's so cool, dude. And it's just cool. I don't know. I just love it.
The
So
strongest.
that's why I have 2 of these.
Yeah. The real strong suit of the Terminator, I think, is the ripple fire the attackers. I think that is. You only
yeah.
get 4, but it fucking pops those motherfuckers out like so quick.
If you have 2 of these frying at a tank, that thing is gonna be toast.
Oh yeah. So play him
Let's
as a
see
pair.
here.
If you're gonna have 2, play him as a pair.
Yeah. I think the strength of the Russian deck, this combo, or just the armored, is you can have Terminators and T15s and T90s or T14s in like a group just doing their thing, just launching just firepower down the line. And you can have some autocannon like BMP2s with AT gems as well.
Mm.
So in the support, this is just my playstyle. So I have S300s, of course, for long range AA. Sasnas for, well, some medium range anti-helicopter action. These are quite nice. Especially in the couple games we did, these performed quite well. And I have a Tor. I just like the fact that I can put this like right behind the building, and because the missile goes up first, I've noticed it manages to actually still be able to fire at things. I don't know if you've noticed that.
I
So you
absolutely
can put it in between like apartment complexes.
I absolutely have. I messed around with that quite a bit on
Yeah.
the previous beta, but not the what's it called? The press access that we had in April. Do you need to
Yeah.
be careful though, because if the building's a little bit too tall, it is going to hit the building and it's going to kill the unit. Yeah,
Yeah.
so you got to watch out.
That does happen. And then I have some mortars. So this is probably where we will differ a lot with how we build our decks. But I will probably use my mortars mainly for smoke and some HE to to just soften up the front line. For the rear, I'd rather have someone else support me with that because then we kind of compensate each other's decks. Because I like to really go for the front line smoking and that kind of action with my artillery. But artillery is just a must. So if you can get a Coalitia in there, I would probably do that. So maybe I can do this and get something to hit their rear lines, to hit their supply depots. And I think these cluster rounds will also do just fine with that.
Breaking news from Jack. Russia just banned Wargame, Warno, and SD. So Steel Division?
Damn.
Hold up.
Broken Arrow won't be banned, I guess. That is interesting. Okay. Let me see here. So in the air tab, I've put the Su-57 in.
Hold up.
With seed.
One sec. This is a
Cool news.
We're breaking off here. Hold on.
We're breaking off here. Eugen is banned in Russia.
Hold on one sec. How do I add Jack into this real quick?
I think
Jack, are you there?
Fuck you, bitch.
Hold on. Hold on.
Whoa, wait.
We're recording.
Hey, we're live on Twitch.
We're recording.
Oh,
I'm so glad. I'm so glad.
Hey.
Yeah, I just realized
Alright,
mistakes were made. I just realized mistakes were made. I should have definitely told you that we were live first.
That's on me.
Thank you. Anyway, what's going on? What did you just say?
I'll
there?
finish my deck in the meantime.
What you
Well, I
said
said
is
what?
banned. You said Russia banned War. What about Broken
Oh,
Arrow?
Yeah, all the site they can't access servers or anything. No, Broken Arrow is fine. I'm pretty sure they did it because Broken Arrow is Russian. So it's no biggie. It's like,
Well, talk
the
through
game's
it.
gonna die anyway. So
Yeah, but talk to so what's where are you getting this info? Like, what's going on with it?
all the Russian players are saying they have no access to it and things like that. Several content creators have contacted Russian people they know, like authorities they know, and they said, yeah, it's gone. It's
Oh damn.
yeah.
So
I
is
don't
there
think there's
reason? Is there reason because well they might not have access to Broken Arrow, but also for those that don't know, Steel Ball Laika are Russian. Like there's Russian devs.
Mhm.
So do you? I'm trying to think about what is this going to affect launch?
There's gonna be no reason other than BA's Russian and they want it to do well in Russia, so they're just restricting access to other RTSs. Of that type,
Really?
I'm not.
You're speculating. You're speculating. Is the
Yeah,
word?
sorry. Yeah, I am
Alright.
speculating.
Okay.
But that seems to be the consensus between the Russian YouTubers and content creators. So.
But we don't have
Damn.
access to Broken Arrow, so there's nothing to say that maybe we don't have access to Broken Arrow.
Oh yeah, no, this isn't going to affect the Western market.
No, I mean, but they're Russian devs, right? So if they are doing this to those games,
SDB are technically not based in Russia.
that's exactly what I'm. They are Russian devs.
Yeah, they have
And
loads of Russian devs, like over half the team's Russian. But I think Slytherin is technically based in the UK, sort of like what's it called? BSG.
I know.
They do the same.
Yeah, I know. I get that part of things.
Interesting.
So is there any kind of news article? Is there any kind of reporting on this, or is this just you being part of the community and you're seeing this in the Discord?
Russians woke up this morning and it's just happened. So
okay,
yeah.
so I'm because of where my brain goes these days. I'm thinking like worst case scenario here. If it's not like if this is like a like a propaganda side of things, if this is like a political thing, I totally see Broken Arrow being in the same boat. That's just where my brain is going.
Well, I think it's more that they want Broken Arrow because it's a sort of a Russian game. They want it to do well in Russia and have more sales than a Western-made RTS, and so they've just restricted it so Russian people buy BA instead of the others.
Talk through that speculation. Like what brought you to that?
It just makes the Russian company more money. That's it. That's literally the end of it. That's where I'm.
It's full speculation. It's full guess. It's full speculation.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And I don't think it's anything to do with the war necessarily, because I don't see that affecting it in any way.
All right.
I don't think they're going to restrict access to the West either, because we'll make them money because if we're buying it,
All right. Why? I just have a super bad feeling about this. I don't know why.
I mean,
I feel like
it's pretty fucked. I mean, what I don't want it to happen. don't want to happen is it would end up like War Thunder, where it's Russian bias everywhere. If like the Russian state is getting involved, but Slytherin is a third. Like they have nothing to do with Russian government.
There's mod
It's all-
support too, so I guess we can.
Yeah, I've already got 3 mods on the work. I've got several different documents. So.
Yeah. All right, we're recording the Debrief podcast while I'm live right now, so eventually we'll have you on here to talk about your mods. But that's your first intro to Jack. Anyone that hasn't heard that voice before,
Hello.
thanks for not making me have to bleep stuff.
Yeah, sorry for the grand
That's a
entrance.
coin
there.
flip. No, it's a coin flip. You can you can swear all you want, but that was a coin flip on you'd say some other crazy shit.
Yeah,
right,
no, that's valid.
All right. Noted. I will text you that we are live next time. But thanks for the heads up, dude.
Thanks, Pookie.
See ya.
See you guys later.
I love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Am I streaming? Oh, wait, share screen.
Yeah, you're good. Are you not good? Is this me or you? Oh, this is me.
That was you, I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm streaming now. I think I've kind of finished it, but just for everyone watching, either live or in the VOD, I usually finish a deck and then make quite a bit of adjustments. So this is like a rough sketch, basically. Okay, just so y'all know what is going on.
Can we just cap off that conversation real quick? I genuinely I am.
That's
I'm
a bit
worried.
weird.
I mean, it makes sense. They've done a lot of this stuff before, but I do want to just say that for some reason my brain is going to bad places about this. Like I feel like that actually is a problem for Broken Arrow. I'm not.
I mean, I wonder where the server hosting is based. That's a big thing, right? If it's outside of Russia, it is perfectly fine.
Well, no, because here
Slytherin
they
is not
are
in
Russian
Russia.
devs. They are Russian.
Yeah, but
that's
the
only
publisher
thing.
isn't. So they own all the rights. They probably have the game, quote unquote, the game in their hands. So I don't think it's gonna be a big problem.
But isn't that going to cause its own problems if they are stopping Warno and Wargame? Because those aren't Russian.
I mean,
either.
they can only do it in Russia, right? Which is, hey, if they want to block it in Russia, they only hurt themselves because probably some of the money would go there.
Yeah, basically, I'm not hearing anything that's making me think that everything will be fine. Basically, I think that this actually could potentially be a problem.
It could be an interesting turn of events. I don't want to speculate, but I haven't seen anything on.
And now that I think about it, I did DM Felix this morning and he never responded. So it's like it could be that he's dealing with a pile of shit from this too.
Could be, yeah. Maybe they need to get the logistics
God damn it.
updated for this. I mean,
all right.
Worst case scenario would be a delay, I guess, if they need now to fix the new logistics. But I'm not guessing on it. I'm pretty sure we'll be fine.
Perky is saying could probably still be released in the Western markets, right? If it was banned in Russia.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with what I'm actually worried about. It's strictly like the dev team are Russians. So if they want to pull the plug because of some political thing, they can. Whatever that thing might be. Or they might be forced to if it's another thing. I don't understand the situation enough. All I know is that based off of the information that we have right now, it's not making me it's not calling my worry at all. I think this actually could be a problem. We're going to, from this point on, I will hope everything's cool. I'll hope that it's what Jack is assuming, which for some reason or another, they're just doing this so that in Russia, for some reason, the Russia game does better, even though it's already number 27 on Steam and had no reason to think that it wouldn't otherwise, which is also part of why I'm worried. So we'll just go ahead. Yeah. All right, continue.
So yeah, I've kind of finished it, so I'll just run you through. So Recon Tab, Spetsnaz, and Razvedka, I like having these because they can also just hold their own, but they have really good stats, they have really good stealth. I really like them, and Spetsnaz, I mean, that's a no-brainer to have. I won't go into all the details of each unit's weapons and stuff. So 4 posts for cheap drone action. Usually we'll use these on like flanks just to keep an eye on. Like if there's a big body of water, just put one of these there. Sarmat cores. So if there's a lot of roads on the front line, I don't want to like put an infantry unit on each one of them. I'll just have like a Sarmat just race down the road until I meet contact, or I'll just hold them at like a decent position as a tripwire. And they can actually do a lot of damage with the cord that I've put on there.
Mm-hmm.
And Orions, I've given them upgraded sensors for better range and 4 ATGMs. Infantry tab, not that intense, but good units. So 4 VDV Metis teams for medium range ATGMs and MBMD2s with Conquerors launchers. Ignermi Sturmovikis with T15, so this is like the heaviest, basically what you can get in this deck. Really good anti-infantry, and the T15 is just delete. With the Kinzel module, so fully upgraded. Then I have some VDVs in basic transport, so this kind of just to add more meat to your infantry. And then I have 4 man pads because I like having man pads on the front line. I would if you give me like another probably an hour, I would probably get some more infantry in here, but this is kind of a good balance of everything. Tanks, heaviest T14 you can get. T90 with good arena, so both of these have upgrades, upgrade armor, anti-tank, and these have anti-tank missiles, and these guys got the arena APS. Then I have some BMPTs with ERA. AA, S300 for long range. We got Sosnas for medium range, mainly against helicopters. Then we got some Tors, because I like them. They do pretty good. They're also decent at intercepting cruise missiles and stuff.
They're
so
great
it's
at
quite nice.
helicopters too. They fuck up helicopters.
Yeah, they pretty much one shot if you get a good
Exactly.
hit, and
Yeah.
otherwise proximity will bring them down to like 1 HP.
Yeah.
Venas, I mainly use mortars for smoke, and then we've put some artillery with cluster rounds to destroy enemy supply depots, but also vehicles. Helicopter, again, this is kind of a rough sketch, but we've put a K-52 with Vickers, so this is an anti-tank guy. Also, I like gun pods. Gun pods delete anything they fire at, so it's really recommended. Mi-24 with lots of rockets and gun pods for some close range help. Some transport helis, 2 of these. I've just went for the cheapest possible one.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have an Mi-28 with lemurs, which are really nice against infantry and also light vehicles, so it's kind of good to do.
140 is the cheapest. It's not 100.
I believe. Yeah, this is the cheapest in this build. Actually, you can go a little bit cheaper. That seems to be the cheapest.
I thought it was
135.
100. Maybe I'm thinking of another deck.
Maybe I looked at the wrong one. Oh, this one. Yeah, there we go.
I'm autistic. I can't believe I fucking remembered that shit. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, we'll just get 3 of these.
Yeah.
Just for now. Yeah. So we have some transport helis, and then we got the Mi-28 with lemur. So HE. We got the K-52 with Vickers, and then we've put 1 Mi-24. So the weakness of this selection here is I only have 1 of each. So if you don't want transport helis, you can delete that and get something else here.
Yeah.
But usually I micro them in a way that even if I do lose them, I'm okay with waiting until I have that unit back. Because I'll probably have used it for whatever I needed it to.
Yep.
But yeah, I would probably get 1 more of these guys probably. In the aircraft tab, I have an Su-57 with seed missiles, and it comes stock with R-37s for long range, and I think this is the max you can get.
Whoa,
Yes.
Whoa. What do you mean? Max what?
Well, I could get like that. That's what I mean. That's what I wanted to do. Actually, not R-37s. I was on a phone call, so I might have made some mistakes there.
The stock you do get the 2 are 73 stock.
Yeah.
So if you open it up.
So Su-57, I just like having as many seed missiles on this thing, and we have some R-73s. But this is mainly about the seed.
Right.
Then Su-34 would just cap 1500s. I still like the OG meta, I guess, with the cabs.
How many do you have on there? The 3?
I have 3 on this.
Okay.
So it's pretty decent.
You don't want to do the self-seed?
Sorry, again?
You don't want to do self-seed?
I don't know.
I mean, you could. 1 more down. You go 1 more down. Or actually, no, that was it. You're good. Why was it? What was the one?
You could do this one.
Open that up again. What's?
Yeah, that's the one. Maybe it's.
Oh no, you're good.
If there was another one, it might not be up.
It's not. No, it's not. I was just. It's so what I'm seeing is a much smaller screen, so I couldn't really exactly read. I just saw the KH.
Yeah, we got some KH-31P seed
Yeah.
missiles and one Cap 1500 in this case. It does make it cheaper, so this might be better.
Yeah.
And then we've put ECM pods on there, and you could get some other weapons on it.
Yeah.
So, but that makes it very expensive.
Right.
And
I
then
would
we just
say-
have SU. Say again.
I would say again, because a portion of this is we're critiquing each other's deck. So you
Yeah.
butt in when I'm doing mine. You butt in anytime you want. Also, while we're here, Richie, thanks for the raid. With a deck set up like this, I tend to not use planes that are going to stick out there very often. Hold on. The emote thing is playing because they read it. Anyway, so if I wanted to have planes out there in a consistent, like a bombing capacity, I would make sure that I have way more seed. But because you just have the one seed, how do I explain this? It's almost like you should treat your air tab as a scalpel rather than your main thing. So because you are armored airborne, we talked about this the other day. Because you're armored airborne, you need to choose where you want to spend your points, and it's very clear that with this deck, it's on the ground, not in the air. So you have to basically you have to understand that you're probably not going to have the points to put into these big expensive planes unless you really need them. In which case, yes, having the 3 cab 1500s might be good, but it's so powerful that it might make you think, okay, let's keep doing that, and it also increases the price. So it's rather like even though you're an airborne deck, you're on the ground and you're very good in the air, and you use them as a scalpel. So almost like maybe don't even bring the SU-57. Maybe don't even worry about seed at that capacity, because you can focus on the ground. And then if you, for instance, got rid of the SU-57 and then brought in a SU-30 that has the ATGMs, it's something that can support your ground units better at doing what they're doing, and with the most effective air unit for doing that thing because of its speed and its ECM, its defense, quote unquote defensibility, whatever you want to call it. So SU-34 for, or you can do that. You can definitely do that with like cruise missiles or something like that. But you can basically, let's say MiG-35. So pull up MiG-35 and then do one drop as seed, one drop as ATGMs, and see if that fits. Keep the R-73s.
Yep. Yeah, that fits.
That fits. Okay, so see, now this way, you don't need to worry about having your own seed plane for seed runs, with it being more expensive. Everything that you're bringing in, apart from that, the SU-30, will be right. SU-30 can't seed, right?
I think.
I don't think it can. It can have R 37s, but it can't seed.
Yeah.
I think.
No, only cruise missiles.
Okay. I would almost put R-37s on that SU-30, and then anything that you want to do for ground support can seed for itself, but obviously be careful about it. So
yeah, true.
You know what I mean?
Honestly, yeah. In this case, since we got that new plane now, I would definitely make this my fighter.
Like it can kind of do both if it needed to, because you have the have the SU-35 as well, which is definitely a better fighter, but it's for about the same price. So I don't know if it would end up fitting. What are you sitting at there? I can't see the point.
1115 of 1250. So I could get maybe the SU-35.
Yeah, you could do the SU-35 as your fighter, but it goes against what I was saying before though. I was just mentioning it. I was just mentioning it on the R-37 side. So on the SU-30, you can do more ATGMs, or you can do the cruise missiles, but instead of the seed missiles, you can put an R-37 on it. So it's a multi-purpose plane. So if something's out there, there's an annoying drone out there, you can send your SU-30 out there. It'll send an R-37 at it. It'll kill the drone, and then you call it back. And then if you wanted it in some capacity that's different than the SU-34 and the MiG-35, you can have it. So for instance, like cruise missiles. And you're over. No, you're over the deck. You're over on the full deck.
Yeah, over the max there.
Um,
I'll just remove one of
but-
these just to make it visual.
oh, that'll do it. But you see what I'm saying though? So like
Yeah.
it's like you, especially with this deck, because every fucking thing is expensive. And it seems like you want to focus ground. Make sure your stuff in the air isn't taking away from the ground and it is there to support the ground. So because of all the multi capabilities of these Russian planes, that practically all of them, not all, but you know what I mean, a lot of them can seed for themselves. So just don't even worry about the seed full capability of seed because that's not your job. You want to win on the ground with this deck. So you have the MiG-35 that can help with the ATGMs. You have the Su-34 that can help with the CAB 1500s. Both of them seed for themselves. Su-30 anti-infantry in some capacity because of those cruise missiles or whatever. And R-37s on that so that you can get rid of a pesky drone or something like that. That on its own is good in my mind based off of the setup that you have here. And again, based off of what the setup that you have here, I wouldn't even bring the Su-35, but because you are an airborne deck, it could also come down like your teammates are probably going to assume you're going to have, because that's the best fighter in the game. That's the best air superiority fighter in the game. But the reason why it's the best air superiority fighter in the game is because of its capabilities on the platform. It's like defensibility, its speed, its maneuverability, and the capacity for R-37s. So if you can't bring R-37s on the Su-35, I almost wouldn't even bother, and I'd bring another Su-30.
Yeah, true.
So
yeah,
brain
preferably
dump,
I would even
brain
put
dump there.
preferably I would even put 2 of those down there.
Or double MiG-35 if you want.
That is also a good option. Then you got R-30, R-77s, 73s. So you don't have the 37s in that case.
No. But the Su-30 did. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, the Su-30 did.
Like in my opinion, trying to keep to your original vision as much as possible.
Yeah.
I would say probably. Let me see that payload there. I would do the cluster. The cluster cruises. Yeah.
These ones?
Yeah. Put R-37s on it and do the cluster cruises.
It doesn't let me put the R-37s on it now.
Oh, can you do more? So do the R-37s. Put the R-37s on. And what's the other one?
These are just air-to-grounds, AA. Oh, there we go. Cruise missile.
There you go. And ECM.
ECM pods.
Right.
So I'll have to remove some points there. But yeah, then I got 2 of those,
Why
which
would
is a lot.
get rid of the Su-35 now? Get rid of both. Just get rid of both. Make 35. Seed and ATGM. Keep the R-73s. The helicopter, anti-helicopter. And again, you can keep it that way because you have everything you need. Your air support.
You got speed and bombs.
Yeah, your air support are self-supporting. One of them, because it can't bring seed, you can also use as the R-37 carrier to get rid of pesky drones, but I wouldn't use it as like a dogfighter.
So both of these have seed. This one has seed and bombs. This one has seed and air-to-ground, so ATGMs. And this one is just a fighter/cruise missile.
Correct.
But mainly an interceptor, not really a dogfighter.
No, interceptor, correct. It full-on interceptor, definitely not a dogfighter. You don't even have
fire these and get out.
Yeah. All ECM pods on the 34. Yeah, you're good.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So you get what I was trying to say there?
Yeah.
Okay. And you got other points to play with, so you can probably bring that.
Yeah, that gives you. That gives me
back.
500 points. I think I deleted a T90.
You did, yeah.
There you go. Yeah, that's fine. And then you got 140 left.
I put Cornets.
Well, we forgot one very essential thing in this entire deck, which is trucks. So support, Kamaz.
There you go.
I will definitely want all 4, but then I'll just delete something else. So 75 points.
Yeah.
Let's just delete one manpad. There you go. Just as a rough build, basically. Yeah. Okay, so we're over the points there. Just one less tour, maybe, or 2 tours with that.
I would do the bigger. I'd do the bigger missiles.
Yeah, you get double missiles.
Yeah. Get one less Sasna, because the Tor kind of does the same job too. Or turn it into
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Derivatius.
Honestly, the guns might actually be
Yeah.
pretty dang good. Yeah, I mean, that's a rough build, but I think that will work.
Yeah.
It would definitely work. You have everything you need.
Yeah, you're putting a lot of
Your
trust in
turn.
those. Yeah, you're putting a lot of trust in those VDVs. Although we're taking up a lot of time. We're taking up a lot of time. That was one of the topics we talked about the other day. Was like, what are you gonna do first when you get into the game? And it's just like, I don't know about
Build
you
decks
guys,
for
but
like 5 hours.
I'm gonna spend about 9 days making my decks.
Yeah,
Anyway, okay.
that is true.
Okay. Do appreciate the raid again there, Richie. Thank you, man. All right. So I think what I'm gonna go with, maybe I'll do USA since you did Russia and we're already up on the hour mark.
Yeah. I'll
Uh,
just quit my
yeah.
stream so you don't get confused.
No, you're good. I took it off. You're good to go.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna do armored marine. I think we would say armored marine probably. On the newer player side of things. And this is going fully to my playstyle. So I go Cav Scouts, jack those up. Definitely not on foot because almost certainly, pretty much the only thing I'm going to be using is the Bradleys here, which have the good optics range, and they get Iron Fist. So jack those up completely. I keep clicking off like I can. I forgot he told me I can do escape to get off of that screen. Do that. Unfortunately, you don't get any drones, but we do want scout snipers, and I think I'm going to put those probably in a Humvee GL, and then 50s, because if you go into an urban environment, those are pretty fucking filthy and have the good range, so I think I'm going to do two Humvees there. We'll keep that like that for now. What are those teams with everything? Is it these guys with everything? It is. So those guys. And I think leave them on foot. And we want Raiders. Jack these guys up as standoff in this situation. These guys as door kickers, if you wanted to go SF on release, are pretty fucking nasty. If you did want to go SF on release, sucks you can't have Ghost Hawks with the Raiders, but oh well. Everything's on the SF deck. Where am I going? Oh yeah, mech engineers and stingers for their Bradleys. So let's go with ESV. You're gonna go full upgraded. I think I'm going to go 2, I think. All right, so the big thing with these guys, the Engineer Bradleys, is they got the blams. So big time anti-light vehicle, big time anti-infantry. This hits super hard. Really like the blams. That's why I'm bringing them. Obviously, these guys are solid anti-infantry as well. But I don't really use infantry. I use the vehicles that they come in, especially when it comes to these guys over here. 3A3, jack that up. All four. Bradley, really good. Stingers, okay. Unfortunately, you don't get 2 of them, I don't think. I think you just get 1 in that team. I think.
One launcher. I think it's just one single launcher in that one, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, wait, wasn't it supposed to be? No, it's one, yeah. And then in the manpad, specific manpad squad, you get 2 launchers, I believe.
Right.
Unless I'm mistaken again.
There isn't.
I remember you got 2
one.
launchers in one of them.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure the mech riflemen just get 1.
Yeah, I think. Can't get javelins. But there's so little fucking ammunition with these, man. I don't know. It's so little ammunition. I think I'm gonna leave it for now. Take that off. Yeah, leave that there for now. Vehicles, very important. Set V3s. Understand that the instant that your enemy sees these, they are going to come for them. Make sure
Yeah.
it's the full. It's a little confusing that he didn't have these in order. I'm not sure why he did that. It's like they're all over the place, so you got to actually look. It's not like, cheapest then, most expensive like it is in game. So double up on those. And I'd probably say let's do, I think we'll get the FEPs. FEPs are great. And they do the same thing, kind of.
Good against infantry too.
Yep. Do the same thing,
Relatively
kind of. And I think what you want to do here is, what's this cost over here with the jammers? 235. What's just the base? I think that's 250. 235. Okay. Oh no. The reason why I had 250 in my brain is because I was basing it off of the price of the T15 originally, which was 250. So I was trying to find something that was cheaper than a 215 that could do well against it, or a T15 and could do well against it. Both of these are pretty similar. I would probably go towards the HC because of the jammer, its defensive capabilities.
Yeah. I mean, that one doesn't run out, so I think for a newer player, that might actually be the way to go, right?
Yeah, I think I'm going to say that. I think I'm going to say HC. So we'll cut off the 1A2s. I think that's probably close to our limits there. It's not. Okay, so we'll do that. We'll keep that. Okay, remember this is a Marine deck as well, so you gotta leave some points. So I think I want to leave it like that. This again is based off of the way that I play. The LAVATs can do stuff. The Assault Breachers can do stuff. The SEP V2s can absolutely do stuff. The 1A2 and the SEP can do stuff. The M60s can do stuff, especially if you put the CEV on there. The tow launchers can do stuff. It's just not the stuff that I want to do in this deck in particular. I'll explain later.
That's
Support,
the thing, yeah.
Linebacker, Pack 2. Pivot is where'd it go? There it is. Lavad, truck, and absolute must if you have an armored deck as the United States M270s. And we'll see what's left after that. We'll mess around with that a little bit. Linebacker.
You go for the cluster ones?
Yep. I'm gonna go up there.
Makes sense.
I'm still sharing my screen, right? You can see this?
Yeah. I mean, I'm just looking at your stream. It's probably better. It's better quality.
True. Okay. So
I'm looking.
Oh, I see you, Schlumbo. People bring that up all the fucking time. That was hilarious. Now you don't get APS on this. You don't get APS on this, and that's not the... God, they have them all jacked up. Why do they have it like... People want the Hellfire. Why is it in the middle? You gotta make sure it's the right thing.
Oh, jacked up.
Yeah, all right. So
yeah, I remember. I remember you put this together with Bradley ESV and regular Bradley's. Kind of have a combo of everything, right?
Oh yeah.
The tow BB, the tow 2B, and then the Hellfires.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Lavad, I think I can do 3. I think. It might just be 1. No, I can't do that. So I think it's 3 for both. Maybe that's not what I wanted to do. And cluster. Okay, it fits. Giggity. With the way the game plays right now, I think it's this. A lot of people are going to hate on this because it doesn't have conventional artillery. I think that's a little bit too much for a new player to do and to understand.
Yeah, probably. I think the MLRS is. I think that's fine. Yeah, this looks good actually.
Yeah. Worst case scenario, GMLRS is the cluster is very good at panicking stuff. So if you want to push into something, and remember, these are the M270s, so these are not the HIMARS. You get the 12. Yeah, you get the 12 of these. Don't shoot all 12. Shoot 2. Shoot like 4. Hell, shoot 6, which I think one salvo is 6. It might say that in there somewhere. I think it does. If you tell it to shoot somewhere, I think it does only shoot 6. It might not shoot the whole 12. But, shoot a couple of clusters at those buildings that you're going to run into if you are. But with this deck, you're not doing a whole lot of city fighting. This is tree line. This is tree line. This is kill vehicles setup stuff here. Which, your support role with a deck like this is significant. Your ability to hit those S300s in the back, the clustered up, SAM sites, the clustered up AA sites, things like that with the M270s are vital to your team as United States. That's stuff that I've talked about in the past. If you want to hear more about that, there's other videos discussing that. But that's why this potentially to your team might be the most important thing in your deck. Your contribution to that game, this might be the most important. And you still have a solid setup for everything else. So I think you're good to go there. Osprey, Venom, Super Cobra. Maybe not Viper, but we'll take a look. One Osprey, one Venom, nothing on it. Goes 65. Osprey, Speedy Boy, Supply, Super Cobra, super cheap. Sidewinder carriers for 135. Okay, and no Viper. What's your view distance on that? 2K. If it went up to 24, I would make it work. But
Where do you even see that?
when you pull it up, it's right here.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Supply, little bit supply. Small team transports. Everything else transport. Specifically plane bait. So this is almost like a QRF AA kind of a thing, and it is very good at it. They are very good at it. So yeah, Super Cobras. People are gonna disagree with me, but I think this is pretty much all you do here, in my opinion. Maybe a bit of this, maybe. Granted, I will say once again, the Harrier 2 Plus can do things. The Harrier Night Attack can do things. The F-18C Hornet can absolutely do things. I don't want the things that they can do in this deck, and I'll explain. F-35, YOLO runs. JSOW, where are you? JSOW. That's the name of the game now. US Air Power, YOLO runs. Prowler, obviously. Seed. Double up. No ECM. Just find your time to just kind of loiter, have it try and go in there. I think I might double up too on the plane itself. These Slam ERs. Pretty nice, pretty nice. Keep it cheap as possible, 20. And I think I keep it like that. That's too much. So I think I'll get rid of this. Because if I want to hit something in the back line, I'll hit it with my 270s. And then I do this. Maybe. No, I don't.
I mean, yeah.
I'm damn
Prowler
close.
was just as many seed missiles. I think just the 4 seed missiles perfect. It's such a cheap plane. I think it's perfect for what you want to use it for. But that is all it can do, though.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing to remember.
I'm going to take away one F-35. So here's the concept here. YOLO runs with the F-35. It will get through. But for the same reasons that I was talking to Bolt about his planes and whatnot, it is the same concept here. So what does your deck do? What is important to your team? What's important to you? In this deck, it's the ground stuff. With the U.S. Marines, you do get some pretty important stuff with the Prowlers. You get some important stuff with the F-18Cs because they get the AIM-174s. Based off of what this is and the capabilities of the United States entirely in this game, I think it's important that you bring some Prowlers, and you use it as a support role for other things. So I'm going to bring 2. I don't think I want to bring 3. and I don't want to get distracted in the air too much. I want to fight on the ground with this deck. So that being said, I think what I do here is maybe a bit of probe/hold with GLs. Perhaps.
You're just trying to fill up the last points. I mean, you get 500 points. You can put a. You could put a plane in there, right?
I don't want to put another plane based off of that capability. I think. I mean, tell me what you're thinking while I'm thinking here too.
You have nothing else in recon?
Well, I do now.
I like to go. Yeah, that could work. I like the force recon because I like to put like a group of a recon and like a medium range ATG, or like Cav Scout and Scout Snipers works. Cav Scout and Force Recon works. Because then you have pretty good units for like holding down a flank.
Yeah, these are pretty nice with their Black Ops loadout too. With the shotguns for the price. They're 60 points. So, this is a pretty new addition for me. So we'll keep it that way. God, I like planes too much. Ooh, you know what? No. You know what will make this more effective is if you do the 18D, and if I do one pylon of, well, actually, they only get one pylon, don't they? They do. The one
I'll sub
this
to you
works.
if you do a C-130 airdrop of infantry with all
At
your
some
points in
point
the
I will.
beginning.
At some point I
With
will.
all the points you have in the beginning and nothing else.
All right, so this works out. This is actually perfect. So here's the thing now. With the Slam ER, you send the Slam ERs while the Prowler is already out. They're going to need to turn their radar on. So this is like a almost guaranteed kill on a SAM site. Actually, I won't say that. Obviously, that is extremely situational. Your best case scenario is if you give it no option but to turn its radar on, which is what this does. So you go after a SAM site, you send the slammers at them while the prowlers are in the air, preferably. So ready to go with their harms. So if they have their radar off, the prowlers are going to come in, or the slammers are going to come in and kill that unit. The only chance that they have at surviving is to either move or turn their radar on. Most of the time, players don't move them. Most of the time, they quickly micro with the control 1 or control 2 or whatever you want to set it up as. They just micro, they turn the radar off. They say seed is up, they turn the radar off. And then most of the time also what they do is they forget about it. And what I mean by that is they see seed coming off, they quickly they tap 1, they tap you or whatever it is to turn the radar off, and then they go back to whatever they were doing in the front line thinking it's okay. Unless they catch the fact that there's some cruise missiles or there's some slammers coming in, and then that adds to the confusion of like, oh shit, no, I actually need to move or turn the radar on. So significant dilemma there, aka they're probably going to turn their radar on because it's the quickest thing. It's the first thing that comes to mind. You've got your prowlers ready to go right there. And it's also something that is pretty significant and important to the United States that you do, because you have the prowlers in terms of its loiter capacity as a seed plane. So I think I'll leave that as that. What's also fucking amazing too is stealth planes YOLO bombing. So, I mean, you can literally take out 2 entire different SAM sites with just this one plane because of the 2 JSOWs if you wanted to. You definitely take out at least 1 every time that you send it.
What you thinking about?
I'm trying to think if I can make that work because javelins are pretty solid and they're recon. I think this is what I do here. I think I do less of these because I don't really want to. I don't really want to hold a urban environment with this deck. I can do a job. I can do a good job of helping somebody or just myself taking an urban environment or a small village and then holding a small village with what I have here. But if I wanted to bring more infantry, if I wanted to hold it, then I would bring more infantry. What's unfortunate is here is that I don't really know if I like this setup. I think what I want to do actually is I want to do one less shore ad, one more piv ad, one more lav ad.
That works. Or more supplies.
And there we go. No, we're done.
You happy with the supply situation?
I am, because I have the Venom and the Osprey. I
true.
I really use my
True, true,
helicopters
true.
a lot for supply. I barely ever
Yeah.
use trucks.
Yeah, true. I mean, yeah, that's why I always have an empty transport heli for both infantry and supplies.
Yeah. So, truly, I think that this is something that you want to go for as a newer player for
Yeah.
United States, if you're newer to the game. The concept here is recon, 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 AA, AA, AA. Don't fight in the air. Don't fight planes.
Yeah.
Try not to use your planes. Pull up to a mostly open environment, not super dense trees, not super dense buildings, but you want to try and find those areas that have a bit of trees, a bit of buildings, and then work your way forward with these. You can do that. You have the ability to do that. Understand that the instant that the other team sees that V3, that's their target. That's just what everybody does. They're like, I want that thing. Fire all guns at that thing and be ready with that. Be ready for that. Have your pack 2s ready to go. Have some super cobras maybe behind them, because if you see that plane come in again, this is like, you know what? I'm just gonna start calling it. This is a QRFAA. It can quickly get there, and each of them have 2 sidewinders. They love to fucking kill planes. There was a U.S. airborne game that I put up a while back that I think I killed like 7 planes with my super cobras. Like, not kidding. It's just because they were coming at my front line, and I had the super cobras there, and each of them would send sidewinders at it. They're not surviving that when they come in that close. Or they would go after the super cobras because they thought that they were more expensive than they are. Brother, they're 135 fucking points. So you can send all the 400 point planes that you want. My super cobra, chances are it's not going to kill it on the first run. And if there's 4 of them, that plane's fucking dead. So that's fantastic. Really like those. I already explained the setup for the seed. I explained the setup for the YOLO run. Explained the setup with the 270. Lav ads are great. Shore ad. If you're going to put lav ads out and you're worried about a chopper rush from Russia, make sure that you have infantry. You have some cheap ones in front of that are going to be seen. So this is also another thing that we talked about a couple of episodes ago, where Bolt got heli rushed, but because they saw an infantry unit first, the helicopters, even though they were flying past, stayed targeting that infantry unit, and one lav ad chewed them the fuck up. They had them for lunch. So put infantry that is going to be seen. Hell, even sacrifice infantry. Take them out of a building. Put them in the middle of a field if you see a helicopter rush coming. Because if that player doesn't realize it, or if they just sent them forward, like I do all the time, even though I've had all these successful helicopter rushes, they're going to start passively, or by default, whatever you want to call it, engaging that infantry unit in the open. And even if they're flying past, they will turn while still flying past. And I'm doing these motions with my hand as if people could see me right now, but you can picture it.
I can see it.
They'll fly past that infantry unit. Like if this is the front line, if they're coming out from this direction, they'll fly past it, but still engage the infantry unit while your lav ad is shooting at them. So pay attention to that. Stop that heli rush. Push hard, giggity, forward with the armor that you have. They're all effective. If you have T-15s coming at you, back the fuck up. Don't face hug T-15s. That's their best environment. If you have T-15s coming at you, back the fuck up. You got Bradleys to help out. You got Toes to help out. You got strong infantry. It's a good deck. Get your recon out. Have your holding force out. If you can't see it, you can't shoot it. Have your AA. Try and kill stuff with your 270s. Try and see when you can. Good to go. And I think that pretty much sums it up.
Yeah, I think that looks good. What you got on the Hornet again? Mainly bombs?
It's just the slammer. It's just the 2
Okay.
slammers.
Yeah, no, that looks good.
Yep. Make sure you have your piv ads in front of the packs too.
Yeah.
Actually in front of them. And even in front of that,
armor.
everything's caged up. Yeah, everything's maxed out on armor. just in case something gets through. Also on the SHORAD side, these things fucking soak seed. So people like to heli rush Patriots because Patriots cannot shoot helicopters. Obviously, PivAds can, but maybe they're not there. Pay attention to that. SHORADs, if you're going to do like a SAMnet, if you're going to have a couple of Patriots out there, have a couple of the Patriots, have them be supplied, have a couple of PivAds in front of them, and then even in front of the PivAds, have at least a SHORAD somewhere in the direction that you think the seed plane is going to come from. Because first things first, it will go. The Bradley will eat it. They'll eat like 3, I think. Most of the time, at least 2. 1 to damage it, 1 to kill it. But I think I've seen them eat 3 sometimes. Not to mention, the gun itself can intercept. Where is it? It can intercept missiles as well. So, Bradley, PivAd, Patriot, supply. That's your setup for your line for the for your SAMnets. And yeah, again, I think we're good to go. We've seen a bunch of gameplay of this stuff too because it's from the previous tests. So go check out both of our channels for that gameplay. Bolt, anything else to add there?
No, I think half the first day is probably going to be spent on deck. So I think
For sure.
just try to use these as a platform or like a basis, and then just kind of branch out from there.
Yep. Are you going to be live the first day, or are you going to be recording?
Probably, yeah.
On
I'll
YouTube?
probably be live during the day and then record off stream after like late afternoon.
Okay, so on YouTube?
Yeah, YouTube.
Okay. So 1 week from now, find Bolt on his channel, which is linked below. Make sure to go follow the man. He plays a hell of a lot more Warno than me. He plays different RTS games than me as well. I'm kind of all over the place, especially these days. I play lots of different games, but this guy is definitely the RTS man of the duo here. He definitely plays way more RTS than I do, so make sure you go check that guy out. And my plan, as I've been saying, or I guess it's our plan. It's probably going to turn into our plan as well. Is going to be 1 week from now. So next Monday, 7 days, guys, 7 days. Live on Twitch.
Days.
Live on Twitch. I don't know if I'll be live on YouTube as well. I've been having some issues with that. But at least live on Twitch. Link below as well on that end of things. And I will post what I can to YouTube. The squad is going to be myself, Sacriel, Karmakut, Moydog, and Clean. If Clean bows out, Bolt's taking his spot. We have half a dozen plus other content creators, most of which actually are Escape from Tarkov creators who are interested in the game, who are newer to the game, who want to play the game. So a significant portion of our early content for Broken Arrow is going to be with the understanding that there are new players there. So the veteran players, myself, Bolt, Sacriel, anybody else that shows up that is a veteran of the game, will be answering questions live to the players on our team in the real time. So if you are newer to the genre, if you're newer to the game, this is going to end up being very effective. We're not going to be jumping to the top of the leaderboards. We're not going to be going full skill. It's actually, we're going the help new user route early on. Probably plenty of good plays, probably plenty of cool gameplay to be had as well. But definitely, if you are newer to the game, go check us out on day 1, 7 days away. Check those links in the description. That's the Debrief Podcast, episode 10, which is actually pretty fitting. It's actually pretty fitting because this is the last one before release, so that's a nice, clean number there. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I hope you have a nice day. See you guys.